kids love it. But Chloe's 5 years old. You just jumped in. Don't bother her. She ain't scared of us. I remember when I first got that pontoon boat, we took them out. Lloyd got out there and just tied them around.
Icelandic director Baltasar Kormákur is best known for his action thrillers, from Contraband to Adrift to Beast.
Representing Alaska. She's here with her son. Now, she told me this weekend that friends have been texting her to keep her head down if she hears a popping noise. But she really feels safe despite the tragedy and thinks people will come together.
I do believe that in times where our country has seen political...
You're talking about, I think it's called the Galerie du Nord. I think that's the technical name of it. And it is indeed a beautiful room. It was created, the architecture and the painting, in the 1850s. But it's interesting that it depicts the history of the Louvre, the series of events that turned it from a palace into a museum. So you have scenes of François Premier, you have Louis XIV, you have various steps along the path to its creation as a museum.
And Francis I was a very important character in assembling the collection, wasn't he?
That's right. It was he who acquired the Mona Lisa, for example, as well as a number of other paintings by Leonardo da Vinci, whom he invited to France.
The Secret Service and the Biden administration for not giving enough resources to protect Trump. Secret Service spokesman this morning in posting called it an untrue assertion that a member of the former president's team requested additional security resources and that those were rebuffed. Said that's absolutely false. In fact, he added protective resources. Allies of Trump, including his campaign, were incensed with early, cautious media coverage and pointed fingers at President Biden. For his part, Biden condemned the shooting and said that political violence has no place in America. But that wasn't enough for Trump allies. And you mentioned J.D. Vance's comments in the last segment blaming Biden for calling Trump a fascist, saying that that's directly to blame. Ben Carson, who served as Trump's housing secretary and also someone Trump has been thinking about for potentially a VP, put it this way: they tried to bankrupt him, they tried to slander him, they tried to imprison him, and now they've tried to kill him. I think we're going to hear a lot of that kind of thing starting tomorrow at the Republican National Convention.
Biden said he had ordered an independent review of the incident and committed to sharing the results of it publicly. He said that Trump receives heightened security and that he had told the head of the Secret Service to review security in place for the Republican National Convention. Biden said he and Trump spoke Saturday night after the attack. Both he and the Trump campaign framed the conversation about the same way as brief.
What the focus was going to be. Trump has always had a defiant message and accused a vague they as coming after him. And he's vowed retribution for his base and that they aren't really coming after him, but his base of voters. And this plays squarely into that message and certainly undermines Biden's message that Trump is a threat to democracy.
I mean, it's impossible to really know this, but do you think this will make a difference in the election?
We haven't seen a lot of the needle. Trump's felony conviction, Biden's poor debate performance. But if this doesn't move the needle, nothing will. I mean, there's certainly going to be an outpouring of support for Trump. It's going to galvanize his supporters. And candidates usually get a bump out of a convention anyway. And he was trying to target looking at win over those voters who he needs to kind of come on his side, who might have been on the fence. He's certainly going to use this to try and do that.
That's NPR senior
act of potential domestic terrorism and an attempted assassination as well.
Yeah. Kerry Johnson, serious questions about the Secret Service from many Republican members of Congress. They're going to be pretty well indicated.
Scott, there are going to be so many indications of the Secret Service. As you mentioned, President Biden has ordered his own independent review, has promised to share the results of that. Members of Congress from both political parties are interested in calling to account the Secret Service director and other people.
For spectators in the churches today, my friend, it's more than a ceremony. Marriage is the very bedrock of every civilization, not only ours.
Hey, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to Dreamy Dreamland. I'm on the Bob. I'm trying to get the wagon
party wagon fixed. And so here it is. What do you think? What's up, right? So, as I was saying before, yesterday's show, that all the networks were carrying that, right? And so a lot of people saw it, and it's. I heard news people. This is a time you'll remember. Remember Jack Kennedy getting shot. Remember when the Challenger blew up. Remember 9/11. This is one of those moments. Right. Not really. This is kind of like all those moments because they were all those other moments were kind of, what do you call it? A soap opera. Like they already figured out what they were going to do. Nothing new here. Move along. That's me, Biggie. Anyway, the real earth-shattering news is that Donald Trump is going to name Ivanka as his vice president. He's going to say that he had, thought of somebody else, but after getting that little bite on his ear, he wanted somebody he could truly trust, and that's his daughter. So that means, Donnie for 4 years, and then Ivanka for 8. So just think where the planet's going to be after, 12 years of that. But really, it's been no different than 12 years of, or 250 years of the same old white men running everything. The rest of us slaves, So let's see, live chat. Oh yeah, he can warm me up. Thank you, dear. Let's see. Yep, seems to work. Still be there. Good to see you. I just want to touch base and let you marinate your brains on that one. Ivanka as vice president. And that will be told to us, sometime this coming week. Today's the first day of the Republican convention. Thank you, Harlan. Oh, sure. Yep. Take this little few goodies here. One last one. Thank you, Catherine.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Okay. So, you have to realize that when you vote for president, you're not voting for Donnie or JoJo. You're voting for an electorate in your state who represents the electoral college, right? And that was, I think, thrown in there to guarantee the white male oligarchy, right? And that three quarters rule gave the South ruling. The fact that the other little thing that every state got 2 senators, right? Even little states like Rhode Island, right? That has the same amount of states as California, and senators. Anyway, so it's gonna be baby. So first things up, we're gonna round up everybody. This is, you have to realize when Adolf Hitler won and the National Socialist Party took over Germany, that was the most democratic country in all of Europe, right? Being then National Socialism, right? Then they burned down the Reichstag and have the Enabling Act, very much like Patriot Act. And so they followed our cues by writing the Nuremberg laws, copying, what was in America and Jim Crow, right? I actually thought Jim Crow was a bit too much. So, instead of having camps, we basically had whole states that were like camps. So we're going to go back to that. when Bill Clinton pushed through NAFTA and then Donnie rejiggered it, NAFTA 2, basically people don't realize that Canada and Mexico are part of the United States, right? So that's why we can go in and back and forth between those two countries without, visas or even showing passports as you're maybe, right? But everyone's going to have, facial recognition, right? No more driver's license, no more, passports, it's just your face, right? But you really can't, you can have plastic surgery, but the bone, unless they break all the bones and change the shape of your orbit, and that's a lot of effort, right? Anyway, so they actually have to 3D print your head, right? But hey, we live in a digital simulation anyway, so who knows? But what's coming at us is they're going to basically make America's own, strip, Gaza Strip here in America. It'll be the whole southern border, all 1,800 miles or however long that is, 800 miles, and about 6 miles wide. And everybody from all those countries that we screwed in the last 70 years, or maybe 120 since the Spanish-American War, will go in there. If they're trying to get to, I want to, I need to help me. Oh, sure, here, just stay here. And so they will live in a little box, and they'll have food that'll DoorDash will deliver it to them, and they will work in factories, right? And as they go working through their thing to get their green card to be in America, right? Because basically population is falling like a rock across the planet, and countries like China, Russia, Europe are really, they have more people who are over 50 than who are 20, right? So they don't have the consumers, they don't have the workers. They can replace the workers with robots, and they're doing that now. But you need people who buy the stuff, right? So it's going to be interesting. And pretty much it's going to be a lot like Rome with bread and circus. We've been having fast food and big screen TVs. So I'd love to hear from you guys. What do you think things are going to be like in the next, let's just say 4 months, between now and the election? I myself think we'll have martial law, right? Because after this kumbaya moment of the last few days, we already have Republican senators because we don't have a Republican Party, right? We have a Donald Trump Party. And once he's somewhat been calm because it was a scripted little event. Again, don't believe a word I say, I'm just giving you food for thought, I was getting my car fixed and I'm waiting in the waiting room, and I have started to have a interesting discourse with the person sitting next to me. He just happens to be a Methodist bishop, right? He was retired and moving into this neck of the woods because it's pretty. Arizona was a bit too toasty, and so he's coming here. He goes, I thought I was getting away from the heat because it's been in the 90s the last 3 weeks, and he just moved here. So it's going to be interesting. So anyway, we had a great conversation, and I said, does everyone know the Bible like you do? I said, nah, maybe. Anyway, so what do you think? I put a comment of all those question marks. There's only one of you left. Been doing this now for 14 minutes. How much juice do we? Yesterday, I caught you right at the cliffhanger, right? I was telling you like 4 different stories and got to the end of most of them and didn't tell you the end of many of them. So, and that's how you should leave people wondering what happened. Right? So I'm gonna come back a little later in the afternoon. Normally, my usual time around 3 o'clock. So I'm going to be running around doing stuff, and it's going to be getting cooler here, allegedly. I don't think so, but who knows? It's supposed to rain a lot, which my plants and. So, do you have a garden?
Huh?
Do you have a garden?
No.
No, I do, and it's about to rain, so all my plants are going. Please rain, please rain. It's been a bit too toasty for them. Anyway, so just letting you know, I'll probably be on around 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right? So, how about some thumbs up? How about some likes? How about some comments? How about you guys, when you get back here, think about what, Ivanka as vice president, martial law, right? And what I really think is that Joe Biden is going to do, to save democracy, we're going to have martial law, right? So, and we're going to go after all those bad people who are going to be violent, Good luck with that. So, we're going to kind of end up like, and good old Putin will probably nuke Ukraine and a little bit of Poland just for good edge. And we'll have a low-grade nuclear war there. And Israel probably nuke the Strip and Lebanon and throw in Iran for. But don't believe a word I say. I don't know anything, but not all out nuclear war. Just enough to make certain places glow and basically get people, oh my God, what are we going to do? And then we'll have the Federation, Star Trek. Go start looking at your James Kirk and Next Generation and catch that. So anyway, that's the story. I'll talk to you guys later. Okay. Do, 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 do.